Well, hello and welcome back to Man v Film. It's time for my watch pile video from September 2024. We're going to go through all the movies that I added to the collection, all the movies I watched, and if the watch pile reduced any this time. Now, a couple of things. I have been feeling awful this month, really lethargic, can't seem to shake myself out of this funk, can't seem to eat properly, and just winter is coming. One of those kind of dark feelings where I really do feel tired all the time. Lots of work, lots of personal things going on. But that's just the excuses. Let's get into all the titles I picked up this month, of which you've seen some reviews on the channel already. So, what's up? The Island from Treasured Films, which, if you didn't watch the review, that movie was absolutely nuts. So weird and crazy. Great cast, great production, really violent and out there. It's not the perfect movie, but it's really kind of watchable. Another review that I had out recently was Delirium, Photo of Gioia by Lamberto Bava, which is really bright and colourful. Commenter said to me recently it reminds them of the Neon Demon, which I can kind of see, and it just made me want the Neon Demon in 4K even more. Yeah. From Vinegar Syndrome, let's see what it's saying. We've got the Cruel Britannia set, which is British films. We've got Craze, Penny Gold, Crucible of Terror. I've watched them all. I think Craze is probably the best. Great performance by Jack Palance in that one, as a cultist who finds that killing people leads to his good fortune. Penny Gold was a kind of targeted as a giallo film murder mystery, which has leanings but not fully there, about murder, deceit, and expensive stamps. And Crucible of Terror was another kind of thriller that was fun, interesting. From Imprint, I picked up the Harvey Keitel box set because Harvey Keitel, always interesting. 6 films here, 2 turkeys, which I think I will never watch again, and 4 great movies, which I can see myself watching often. I've reviewed all of these, but to run through them, Bad Lieutenant, masterpiece, absolutely adore it. The Young Americans, which is a fairly decent procedural. Dangerous Game, which was awful. I really just didn't like that one at all. Imaginary Games, which was fine, but it's just one of those movies that's just fine. Like, I can't envisage ever wanting to watch it again. Clockers, which I really enjoy a hell of a lot. And finishing off with Holy Smoke, which was just an absolute delight. From Eureka, about 2 titles this month, we had The Champion, starring Yun Biao, a kind of precursor to Shaolin Soccer, which was an absolute blast. Just a whole lot of fun. One of those movies where you can kind of tell exactly where the story's going, but you're happy to go on that journey. From the Yun clan is 2 Taoist Tales, which I really liked. Taoism Drunkard, I thought that was exceptional. The Young Taoist Fighter was another one that was kind of fine, round out the set, but my love was all for the first one on that. From Fun City Editions as Stranger's Kiss, which I have a review coming soon for. A friend sent me it. I did in a recent update video. I had no idea what it was about. Put it on halfway through. I had the sudden realization this was about Stanley Kubrick's Killer's Kiss and kind of fictionalized making of, and that made it all the more fascinating because of that. Also, from Fun City Editions is Deep in the Heart, otherwise known as Handgun, which this was fantastic. Young woman moved to a town, Texas town, where guns are just prevalent. Everybody has one. She goes on a date with a guy. At one point, he decides that he's putting enough effort here. He's going to get what he really wants and attacks her at gunpoint. At which point, she learns how to use a gun, learns how to protect herself, and things go from there. I've not started this yet, but I'm looking forward to Seeing Red, 3 French vigilante thrillers. Vigilante films, I'm all in for it. Black Magic Rights, which I've not got to yet, but it annoys me that these films don't come with Blu-rays and with 4K players. Now, I often have access to a Blu-ray player kind of anywhere in the house. The 4K player is only available at one. It's in a certain room. I don't often get time to sit and watch something in there. Bugs me sometimes. Another Fun City Edition film was Bad Company, starring Jeff Bridges, about some young men on the run from conscription who tried to make ends meet in a savage Wild West. It was so much fun and engaging. I loved the characters. I loved the main pairing of the two main leads. I loved how they're just kind of bumbling along, trying to survive in a world where it looks as if it's really tough to survive. Next, which my review just up for the film, but not the extras, was Opera. I love it. I think it's terrific. I think that cover is brilliant. We have here, I think the fact this is such a big disc, so many extras and soundtrack and booklets is just wonderful. And really rounding out a lot of my Argento 4K collection, which I'm happy for. My friend Paige, who sent me Jaws 3 on 4K, has sent me Jaws the Revenge on 4K. It's another one of these like really terrific editions, which yeah, I maybe should pick up too, but it's a bit too expensive just now. And of course, the release of the month, maybe year, was The Hitcher. If you haven't seen my review, it's up there. I go through all the extras and everything. If you haven't picked it up, pick up a version of it sooner rather than later, whether it's limited edition, standard, whatever. You just deserve to have this in your collection. So that's everything that I picked up this month. Of course, I watched movies. Not as many as I would have liked. I never seem to watch as many as I would have liked. But let's dive into Letterboxd and have a little look at what we have. So, starting off the month with a couple of Death Crocodile films, In the Moscow Slums, which was a recent Sherlock Holmes take, with some real-life characters replacing Holmes and Watson, which was interesting. It was fine, enjoyable. I got to see Attack of the Clones, which I haven't seen since it first came out, and everything Ewan McGregor and Obi-Wan is terrific, and everything love story is just horrid. It really is a film of two halves. Yeah. Killdozer was one I watched with the Discord people who I think we all really enjoyed it. It was a great conversation all the way through it. Yeah, it was just fun. These are some shorts that were on one of the Death Crocodile discs. Bad Lieutenant, absolute masterpiece, like I said. These are all from the Harvey Keitel set, which I kind of breezed over. Bad Lieutenant, Clockers were probably the best films on it, with Holy Smoke being a kind of third favourite from the set. Opera, which is great. A Man on His Knees, which had a kind of earlier release date, but it's now moved to October, which we'll see in a moment. That was fantastic. If you haven't got A Man on His Knees, get it as soon as it comes out. It was such an interesting story. A man who was once a criminal has reformed his life after a stint in jail, has a small coffee stall, gets embroiled in a situation that he had absolutely nothing to do, and thinks that he is targeted to be killed. He doesn't know, but the paranoia really seeps in and starts to affect him, his friends, his family. Oh, amazing. Delirium, Photo of Goya. Like I said, I really enjoy that one. Howling 2 was another movie that I picked up, which I didn't show you because I've already got rid of it. It's no longer in the collection. I won't go back to Howling 2 again. I don't have the time to waste on it, so it's gone. Rogue One was... where has... Star Wars Episode 3, I did watch it. That was really good. I had never seen Revenge of the Sith in the big screen, and I think it's probably my favourite of the prequel trilogy, but I still kind of love The Phantom Menace more, I'd say, but that's my favourite. That's my favourite of the three films. It's the most rounded out, best of the films. I got to see Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, which kind of bridges the prequels and the original trilogy, and it was great. It's a really solid film, really probably one of the better of the Star Wars new movies. There's no maybe about it, it's the best. Taoism Drunkard and Young Taoism Fighter, as I talked about, were great. Also from Death Crocodile was the Shaharam Mokri set, where I started off with Ashcan. Now, I've got a review for this coming. This was a terrific film. Almost felt like vignettes at the start, where it just jumped from random characters and then slowly starts to tie all these pieces together into one kind of larger story. A couple of blind men do a heist. We have some mortuary attendants. We have a man who continually tries to kill himself but is completely unsuccessful in the act, and how these all kind of come together. It was really good. Yeah, a really strong start to that set. The Champions, as I spoke about, was fun. Penny Gold from the Cruel Britannia set was decent enough, as was Crucible of Terror. A Chinese Torture Chamber Story 2 I watched, not as funny as the first one, and that lack of levity really impacted the film for me. I love the brutality and the characters and the situations, but it is bleak. And whereas the first one was bleak, but with a glimmer of hope and some good funny sequences, this is missing that a lot. Still, a really good film. The Hitcher, terrific. Then we started Star Wars on the big screen, which I loved. Some extras from the Hitcher disc. The Island, which I spoke about. Stranger's Kiss, again, talked about that. As Craze was the last of the Cruel Britannia films. Empire Strikes Back, which I've just seen in the cinema there. Terrific. That was great in the big screen. Probably the best of the Star Wars movies. Just everything about it, just perfect. Handgun, which again I spoke about, was terrific. Bad Company. Fish and Cat, which was the last movie. We'll hide Slumber Party Massacre there because that's in October. Fish and Cat was the last movie I watched this month. It was from the Shaharam Mokri set and was fascinating. I've not done the review for that one yet. I don't know how I'm going to do that because it's a tough one to talk about. It's a 2 hour, 10, 20 minute single take, which plays with time in a really fun way, telling a story which is a kind of Texas Chainsaw Massacre-esque story of a restaurant owner who is killing people and turning them into food, but without any of the murders. They're all kind of implied off screen. It sounds odd and weird and different, but it was completely unique and completely out there and just something special. I felt I was captivated throughout it, and that is even though there are long moments of people just walking, because we need to kind of follow one person to a new setup, and then the camera kind of moves with them somebody else, and we follow that person for a period of time, and it could be back in time, forward in time. Just terrific. It's going to be a tough one to talk about. As for October films we have coming out, A Tattooed Life and A Man on His Knees are just out on October the 7th, which is a couple of days away. I've got reviews for those up already. Check them out, particularly A Man on His Knees. I think that needs more eyes on it. We Still Kill the Old Way. I've still to watch. I'm looking forward to getting to that. I am interested about Gaira's Guts trilogy, so I know nothing about that. I'm kind of hoping you can tell me out there if you have seen it, if it's worth picking up. Is it something I should give a shot to? Death Game is also one that, as soon as I finish this video, I'm going to watch, because I've got it sitting right here, primed, ready to go, and I'm looking forward to checking that out. Let's see, what else do we have? We have You Must Be the Killer from Treasured Films, which I seen a while ago. Might be worth revisiting that. Is there anything else jumping out at me? You do have the 4K release of A Nightmare on Elm Street, which I'm interested to see the reviews on that. I would have liked a box set, to be honest. 7 Samurai is getting a 4K release. Future Cops, which was that website only release from Eureka, which I've missed out on, which would have been interesting. But hey, Columbia Noir, I didn't pre-order. It's something I would normally have went to, but I feel like I really need to kind of concentrate on the watch pile, and it's tough not to jump into things like that because I know it's something that I would like, and I'll probably pick up at some point further down the line. Let's see, Breakdown of 4K. I do love Breakdown, but I don't really need that one just now. Broken Oath from Eureka is, of course, something I will get. BFI's Oblong Box, Vincent Price and Christopher Lee. Now, I've not heard of that, but that sounds like something I would be interested in. Indicator releases Il Vampiro and another vampire film, which again, I'm just going to wait on. No rush to get that. And then end of the month, we have the end of the month. It's all at the end of the month. We've got Haxan, I Vampiri, Daei Gothic, A Quiet Place in the Country, all Radiance titles. I can't wait to get my hands on Haxan. I've not seen I Vampiri for a while. It was on an old Arrow disc as like a bonus feature. I can't remember which film it was on. It was one of the Bava films. Remember which one? But yeah, I'm looking forward to those releases. We've also got Dugra Magra from Radiance. We have Dawn of the Mummy from Treasured Films. We have Late Night with the Devil, which I've heard good things about, and hopefully that arrives before Halloween. I would like to check that out. We've got the standard release of Planet of the Vampires, J-Horror Rising. It's just, they're all coming that week of Halloween, which makes things just difficult, because I would love to get that. Look, all of those, but it's just not feasible to get them and watch them all. So let's jump through the month and see what I'm actually going to pick up. So I already have the Radiance titles from the start of the month and Death Game. I will definitely be getting to them. I'm curious about Gary's Guts trilogy, but I know nothing about it, so I need more information. Please let me know about that. You Might Be the Killer, I may pick up. Nothing else until the end of the month, which is good. So we've got all the Radiance titles again. We've got Late Night with the Devil, possibly Dawn of the Mummy. And that's it. So October's looking manageable, which I kind of appreciate, to be honest, because I really want to get that watch this down a good chunk. And as for numbers, so I started off the month with 242 movies in my pile to my side, which you can see to watch. I got 25 movies added to the collection. I managed to watch 28, which brought it down to 239. So the list has came down a good chunk, which I'm really happy about. Yeah, I feel quite good about that. We've got more movies to watch, plenty to keep me busy. It's getting into Halloween, so any kind of horror films whatsoever I've got hanging about here will probably get pushed to the top of the list, like the Mexico Macabre list, which I'm looking at just now, which I may give a spin to. I would love to know if you picked up anything interesting this month, anything that you added to the collection you want to shout about, anything that I'm thinking about picking up that you have a comment on, let me know. Any of the films I picked up and haven't watched yet, let me know if I should push them to the top of the pile. As always, I will see you next month where we can talk more about my insecurities as a movie collector and watcher. You know me, typical. As always, in the comment box below, drop something so we can have a little chit chat. It keeps me busy. As always, there is more content up here. You can see more of my stuff in the description box below, or links to Patreon, membership program, manvfilm.com, always, in which you can support. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.